thought we'd be first. You guys are very prompt.
What took you guys so long? Did you go up today, Chris?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you go?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it was decent. It was about noon. I said, what do I want to do for lunch?
Yep.
So.
That was about my schedule today.
Oh. Go Park City side?
No, that's at the Candy side.
I went Park City side.
You did? We switched today.
Yeah.
That's funny.
There wasn't hardly anybody there either.
Really?
Yeah, I was surprised. The parking lot was completely full. Nobody on the mountain.
Did it feel that busy?
It wasn't. I mean, it wasn't even a feel like it. Like I'm going down Treasure Hollow, and there's one other person there with me. That's empty.
That's empty.
You know?
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy, man.
You're in the front row?
Second row.
Second row.
Never do front.
Your front row?
When I was younger, I was adopted by a family. Their last name was Ammett, which is spelled completely different than the way it sounds. Spelled A-A-M-O-D-T.
All right.
When you're in school and your first name starts with A-A, you're either sitting there or there.
Yeah, I guess you would be.
So I no longer sit in the front row.
Ah.
I, of course, changed my name back to Sanders, what I was born under, but this is about where the S's should be, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I would do.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Where's the coffee, man? I can see that. Here is the start button. I guess actually covered in dots here. Really?
I read them. Most women will find first and then you're being rich, you know? So. And I don't post at night. You're here. I'm so glad. And early. That's amazing. I don't think I know your name.
I'm
do I?
new. I'm a new guy, Skylar Smith.
Skylar Smith. And who are you with, Skylar?
I work for Remax.
Awesome.
I have an office in Holiday. I
Hey.
work for Butch down there, but
Awesome.
I'm a board
Can
member
try to
out
come up
here.
here. Awesome. But you belong to our board
Yes, I do.
because you get our data. I'm Carol Agel.
Carol Egel, nice to meet you. Pleasure.
What's going on, man?
What's your name?
Damon.
Nice to meet you.
Skylar's new to our board.
Skyler.
I guess this is my first event. I've been a member since July when I had to decide in Salt Lake or Park City.
You did? You couldn't do both?
You can, it's
Yeah,
just a little.
just take some time and money.
Yeah, it's more costume.
Like everything else.
Yeah, right.
Time, money, and effort. David, looks like you're kicking it.
What do you mean?
You're busy.
Always. Got a badge now?
A badge? What are you doing with a badge? Show me. Let me be impressed.
It's not a real badge, it's just a name tag for the board. So that's cool.
Let me see it.
You been out skiing?
What, this morning? I've got a
What
house
was
for sale at the top of the
You can
column.
wear it if you want.
Listen, oh, that would be so hilarious. I'm just in being a transgender because I don't have enough craziness in my life.
Looks like Thursday won't be too special. You guys have ski day every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, most of us have passes somewhere.
Uh-oh.
You get ski for, isn't Thursday a ski for free day?
Yeah.
Be sure you get this back from me.
For sure.
We'll see if anybody knows.
See if anyone recognizes that.
What do you think?
Looks good.
Todd,
Hi, Carol.
look what Damon just got.
He is somebody.
He's taken over the controls.
That's good.
I know, we're so happy. Hi, baby.
Sorry.
I'm good. My sister got out of the living van.
Where you
She's been
live,
locked up in solitary confinement up in Montana because she didn't have, who's in charge of me if I go unconscious.
Remax in
So, yeah.
St. George for 5 years.
So the cop, she just went to the hospital and knocked her out.
I just had a family friend.
That's crazy.
So be sure everybody has that, because your wife can't get you out
We're on a short,
if she doesn't have that form.
room here.
Good to know.
It's a form to get off, I know, I was shocked. Yeah.
Heard about people from Montana.
Hey, good to see you, stranger. What's happening? You brought me an offer in.
Mr. Lewis? Richie? How are you, Jeff? Fair to middle, how are you?
Hi, I don't know you. I'm Carol Abel. Kent Spiller. Who are you?
What the hell is all this?
Well, welcome. So I
The
jumped over.
broadcast, you know? You can watch it online. Yes, I got that.
That only happens once, as they say.
Yep.
No complaints, just wish the copy.
You know what he can do? He can use that bag.
Yeah, thank
I've
I've been here 4 times.
You're welcome.
Hi,
Good, how are you?
I told the last one.
We do those Wednesdays.
I'm currently planning a trip for
I'd recommend just going.
Whistling Straits, Sand Valley. Ending July.
Sounds like a good idea.
Really put together.
Yeah, that was hard to get her.
How you doing? Pretty good over yourself? Good.
It's pretty late.
I can't use it right now.
That's all right.
No, not unless you could.
Yeah.
It's like golf, I was cross country skiing.
Not as much as I should.
The acre dealers that are on Main Street. Like in DC and the ground is so present, they were like, oh, yeah. The teas and the coffee. I said, that's dedication. I don't think I would ever play.
DC area? That's where I'm from.
Yeah, the guy that said that he would play year round.
Yeah.
There's trouble.
I'm
I'm
glad I'm not going that way.
Mail is
Well,
Yes.
Gone, sir.
hey, Meyer, how are you, buddy?
Pretty good. Just sweating over here. I'm not used to doing this.
Yeah.
Because I normally I just set up a Zoom and I just bear.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
And also I pull up all those numbers, so I'm hoping that I'm.
Oh, I've got a test for it. I've got my own, but it's not, they're totally different.
Oh, okay, yeah, because I remember it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just do single family homes, condos and land. I don't do commercial.
I've spent the last.
Okay.
Fractional. And then I only do.
I do have a version of this one, which is vacant, condo, and single
I
family.
can't Mark Sanders.
Hey, how's it going?
You can pull it from there too.
Yeah. Well, I tried to get on PC on my last one, telephone, it's been shut down. I haven't set up the.
MLS touch.
Here comes that old guy. What do we got? When was that birthday? Anniversary of the 39th birthday? How you doing? How you doing?
I'm gonna intro you, Jim, so
Anyway,
everybody can learn.
you got 5 minutes.
Hey, Carol, how are you?
Good, glad you're here. Thanks.
Oh,
What's your?
You want a scritchy, baby? Is there anything better than a scritchy? I know.
lower.
I don't know why you don't have that option at a massage therapist.
Oh, yeah.
I will just scritch you for 10 of your 60 minutes.
Thank you.
I've asked somebody, yeah. Most of them won't scritch.
Hi, Damon.
Well,
What?
huh?
No, what?
She's
What is
she's
that?
back.
It's a deep subject.
Yeah. You almost look like him.
Thanks.
Oh, Lordy.
You made it plenty
You
early.
are easy. What do you do if you have your own number?
Fix the grass.
Oh, I just.
Sorry to look at it on your job. I was flipping through it, and
Committee.
I know we're gonna start.
Not that it exists anymore, but.
It's gonna be what happened. Further,
Yeah,
every page took a little.
Yeah, so whenever Sid and I were playing,
Literally.
we must have moved him out of the margin or something. So I
Yeah.
guess.
Sundance started early and nobody told him?
But should be good going forward, so that's the final thing.
Well, yeah, it was completely screwed. So yeah,
They still
that's
have a
both
roof on the
sides.
side, I'm amazed at that, it's like the city, you know, I thought they would at least been kind of.
I don't think, well, they're trying to do some of it. It snows more tomorrow. Well, they're using the post office parking as a snow dump. Yeah. Really? Yeah. Oh, jeez. So it's down to like 4 or 5 cars here.
Well, you know, they used to, normally we put it in the, Long Wells. We got all the good out.
Yeah.
Someplace to put it.
Kansas City.
Just not this one.
It could be lower.
Some off the competitive track
You're
this year.
giving birth. You got to work for free.
Well, I made more money when I was driving a beer truck in college than I'm making today.
Well, and you let it go without you.
Trying to get a deal done. Guy I thought was gonna buy I just talked to him for
Yeah.
a
Mine's a little bit.
He was-
I started.
he was really liked the look at it.
The only bad part of this whole visit was probably the impression that.
You just, we didn't have to walk up. I just thought it was a real trip.
He says, no, I'm gonna have to wait a while. I got a few investments I gotta make come through and I could do it.
You know, isn't it
I looked at his phone and said that Margaret sounds sweet.
Or not yesterday.
Oh,
Which
William's putting the finger.
I said,
I think it's a drive-by.
Hey, Mark?
Yeah.
Good, how you doing, bud?
I can see that.
Well, it being 3:00, we'll start with a few intros. I know all these seats will be filled as people, you know, come on in. We have a really fun intro first. We have a new executive director, and Todd has spent most of the last year not making money, but hiring a new executive director. Todd, do you want to say anything about the search or any of that?
The search led us to a great spot.
Excellent.
It's
I love it.
all go with there, so.
This is Todd's last year being our president, Todd Anderson, so we are so
Oh.
It's actually
grateful.
Sheila's now.
And
so,
Sheila
yeah.
is coming in. She has spent
President.
no time this last year on board matters. She spent no time on anything but board. Hey, Klein, your report is the best ever. Thank you.
Yes.
So I'm going to introduce our new executive director. Tell us about a little bit about yourself.
Sure, absolutely. My name is Jamie Johnson Coffey, and I got here, started October 1st. Came from the Greater Nashville Association of Realtors, where I was the COO and worked directly with our board of directors there. So had started the process of working through association executive certification through the National Association of Realtors, and was looking at leadership opportunities all over the country. Came to Park City and fell in love. And I'm so blessed to be here and to be in leadership with you guys, and look forward to the future and all the new and exciting things that we're going to implement here. So
Awesome. I think you can tell we are really, really happy to have Jamie with us. And so you're all welcome to start your own relationship with her. And I'm just going to mention a few other people who've given us a lot of service. Todd Anderson, outgoing, Sheila Hall coming in. I office almost next to Sheila, and her hair's been standing on end at various times of stress over the last year and a half. And we're so lucky to have these volunteer people who step in. Yep, that's right, everybody. And right now, I'm wearing a badge of a brand new person who just got elected. I'll give it back to him. But making sure you all know Damon Leake.
Bouchard, wrong Damon.
Damon Bushy.
Bouchard.
Sorry,
Oh,
not
nice.
Damon Leake. Oh, my God.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, my God. I've been up in a lunatic asylum in Montana trying to break my sister out. She was put in solitary confinement, and it's been overwhelming. So please be sure all of you have your medical directive signed, not the intention to sign it, get it off the internet for free, and be sure you have multiple copies around. If she'd had that, it never would have happened. But we have had to prove that her son is her son. It's just gone on and on and on. So anyway, it's Damon Bushy.
Bouchard.
Bouchard. There you go. Thank you, and thanks for serving. Anybody else newly going on or off the board? William Winstead is lined up right behind Sheila. And so that is just awesome. It's really fun to be on the board once. Yeah, I'll get there. I'll get there. And then everybody's Mr. Popular.
Wait a minute.
Steve Chin.
Wait a minute.
No,
No,
I
no.
forgot
No,
Steve
his
Chin's the
popular.
most popular.
No,
Yeah,
no,
I
no,
forgot.
no.
I'm so sorry. I'm sure everybody knows Rich Fine.
My
And
favorite.
Rich was late for a meeting this morning because they opened 99.90 at 11:30. So way to make your choices, Rich.
Good decisions were made this morning.
And who else did I forget that's been serving on the board or coming off the board?
Ms. Nancy Arnie is our president of the Philanthropic Foundation this year.
Thank you, Nancy.
All right.
Nancy gives a lot to our community all the time. And she just told me her rescue dogs are not certified for avalanche work, so she does have time to raise lots of money. And then another couple of people, I hope you all know Meyer. We are so lucky to have him. He grew up here in Park City. He went to Park City High School, and he is our numbers guru. If you don't see him out riding his bike on the trails, that's where he is. And I'm sure you all know Kara Smith. You get all those emails
Yes.
from her, all right?
I'm annoying, but hopefully it's useful.
It is.
You're getting better.
It's a good way,
No,
Steve,
no, perfect,
that's
perfect.
not like you.
No, you're perfect.
So while Steve Chin has the floor, we'll
No, I
let him we're gonna go around now and introduce all of ourselves to each other.
Well, I have talking point paper here. I
Excellent.
can just hand off one to
As soon
everybody.
as we've introduced ourselves, then we'll get into numbers like crazy. Steve Chin, you start.
Steve Chin, Berkshire Hathaway.
Thank you, a living legend.
No.
Daleen Stitch Keller Williams.
Daleen Keller Williams,
Jeff Guy, Berkshire Hathaway.
Jeff,
Stacy Windsor Sotheby's.
Stacy Windsor Sotheby's.
Chris Messick, Sotheby's and Promontory.
And Chris is gonna give us a special report on Promontory since it's been so important to our market. Ginny,
Jenny Shulman, Keller Williams.
Chris O'Neill, Jess Real Estate.
Chris O'Neill,
Todd Anderson, Keller Williams.
Rich Fine, Berkshire Hathaway.
Jamie Hoppy, Park City Board of Realtors.
Daniel Monshine, Keller Williams. Zach White, Keller Williams.
well, welcome to, there are quite a few people here who haven't been to our fun gathering before. And you should know, because legally I have to tell you, we are being filmed and recorded. And most of our agents listen to this report as they're driving or doing something else.
John Walker, Cleveland Brokers.
John Walker,
Recline, Wells Fargo.
we love Recline in this committee. We belong to his fan club.
Jeff Coe, Jess Real Estate.
Jim Lewis, Berkshire Hathaway.
Sheila Hall, Berkshire Hathaway.
Steve Kotzenberg, Keller Williams.
That's Steve Kotzenberg, if you didn't hear him.
Thierry, Berkshire Hathaway.
Oh, Small, Steve Guy.
Bobby Smallblood,
Steve Guy.
Just
Steve to Sky, there we go.
Mark Selbrance, Berkshire.
Tess Wyatt, Berkshire.
Damon Bashai, Windermere.
As opposed to the other Damon, I'm so sorry.
Skylar Smith, Remax.
Okay, Skylar's never been to one of our meetings, and I think there are 3 other people who can say that. So we'll break them in gently.
William Winstead, Southern Sotheby's.
Debbie Voss, Sotheby's.
Kent Spitler, Keller Williams.
Mark Sanders, Jess Reed Christie's.
All right, oh, just read Christie's. He got the Christie's
Christie's
in
and
there.
Jeff. Boy.
Guys.
Darn.
So, we have now been called, we've done number 1A, we've done the intro and the welcome. I have turned my phone off, and I hope You guys have at least turned it down. And then we're now going to talk about statistics here. We're going to go out to the Jordanelle market. We have a special report that's been reported from Heber. We've got some Camas Valley stuff. And then we're going to give a little time to Chris Messick at Promontory. A special time, we're trying to do one of our gated communities a session. So as you know, we meet quarterly for an hour. Sometimes we run to an hour 15. And we have 2 board motives that we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be able to get this data in some format, agreed upon talking points, that when we're at good old cocktail parties or whatever, we don't have this. How's the market? Oh, it's just a mess. You know, whatever it is, we want to have a consistent message. And don't you love the one when you're socializing? The market's so strong, you must be raking the money in. I love other people's realities of us, right? And then the second thing is we need to really get talking points for our officers or anybody else who will be speaking on the radio or on the newspapers for us. So to that end, Maya's going to pass us out little pieces of paper, and you're going to write on there some things that you think are good talking points, cogently written. Ooh, and I know, we made it harder. Cogently written. So we're going to start with this white comparison report. This is our summary of the last 12 months, because we're going to have to speak some kind of definitive statement about last year. Sheila, did you have a question?
No.
No, God, no. I don't want to talk anymore. I've talked enough. So if you'll turn just over to page 2 of 44, especially for those of you that haven't been here, we work on what's called a rolling 12-month average. And that means every data point that we quote goes back 12 months. And we run into all sorts of problems with data because so much of our numbers is in future. So we may have millions and millions of dollars of things due to close over the next year, but they don't show up here. So only Rick Klein's report, which we'll get to as dessert, shows under contracts. So as you look at these numbers, start circling them, and then I'm going to ask, please, that we start talking. There's so much here. I thought we should talk first with single-family homes. So let's not look at condos yet. You can go through, circle stuff, and if you have any questions about how this looks, generic questions on how the data is reported. The fact that Jeremy Ranch went down 22% in number of souls, that kind of thing, you're going to want to circle and we're going to want to discuss it. I know, you got to have pencils in this day and age still, right? Chris, will you speak, Richard?
I'll be right behind you. We're trying to catch you.
Okay, we're about ready to talk about single-family homes. Give me any observations to start with, please.
Glenwild, 172%.
What's up 172%?
Glenwild.
Glenwild, let's look at that for a minute. That's pretty astonishing, right? So our gated communities are more and more and more coming into play. So let's look at Glenwild for a minute. You'll page over, that's page 4 of 44. You can see we went from 11 sales the previous year to 19 this last 12 months. And look at what happened to the average sale price. Now note, we always, for you guys who are new to this, we report average sale and median sale. And they report, of course, a different thing. But in this case, the median and the average are surprisingly identical. We don't usually see that. But you can see the volume sold, as Sheila said, 172%. That's pretty amazing. May we help you?
Just running a little bit, a little late.
So like, it's okay. We have, of course, places down front where you would be embarrassed. Of course we do. It's okay, you look like a Diction Mountain. Okay, some more observations. Look at how many things are down.
Well, the area at 274%, that's, I mean, it's
So
such a
the
small
area,
number.
of course, as we've said before, it's such a small market that we've gone from 3 to 6. So, or 3 to 6, yeah, so that is a huge percent uptick. So if you guys wanted to tell an amazing story, you can say, home prices in the area were up 78% on a median sale last year, and 87% up. But out of 6 sales, we gotta be pretty careful about the area. Yeah, Rick?
Well, one of the things I find really interesting is that in both single family for in town and Basin, we're down 9% in volume, up 10% on median, in the Lincoln Park City, down 8% in Snyderville, prices up 21%.
So
And similarly in Jordan.
obviously that is fewer sales, more expensive pricing. But we're gonna have an interesting conversation in a minute where our listings are in comparative pricing. Because we've said before, our market doesn't follow, if there's lots of inventory, the prices necessarily go down. So this will be good, fun to find anomalies, I think. Let's for a minute just compare, we always like to compare Pine Brook and Jeremy. It kind of gives us a little overall, so that's back to page 4. So let's talk about some reasons that Jeremy might be down 22% in numbers sold. Does that mean the Jeremy market's really soft? Lack of inventory. As Mountain Man says there. Okay, so that could be lack of inventory.
Well, Jeremy, there's 23 listings right now.
Yeah, Jeremy with 23
It's not
listings.
very many though.
You don't think so?
No, they typically hold 30, 33.
President Hall speaks.
Wow.
Okay, we'll get all that too from Rick Klein when we get into his report of present numbers. So as you know, we don't give inventory on this report. Silver Creek Estates has been a hot little area, right? Ashley brought her own house out for over $2 million and it went under contract in what, 27 hours or something, right?
2.5 million.
So let's just say sometimes Pine Brook is ahead of Jeremy, sometimes Jeremy's ahead of Pine Brook. So their average sale price is about 9% difference from each other, right? But right now, again, Jeremy outperformed Pine Brook. Silver Creek doing well. We'll get to Promontory when we have Chris up and talking. We should always walk away knowing what does it cost to live in the city limits of Park City and what does it cost to live in our school district. So you know those numbers are on page 3, total Park City limits. You should just know this number. The average sale price in the city limits last year was 2.68 or 2.7, right? We should all just say that. And that average sale price was up 12%, although the number sold was down 9%. So you could pick your number to tell whatever story you think is apropos. And then let's compare that with the Snyderville Basin. And so that is in our school district, right? And so if you look at page 5 of 45, you can see the difference between being in the city limits and out of the city limits. Rick Klein has always called it the tale of two cities, right? And Sally's gonna say that again for us with Midway and Hebrew, so we'll be doing that in a minute. But just, so for right now, again, 2.7 to be in the city limits last year, that's average. The median's much lower, which means obviously there were a lot of sales below that. And in the rest of the basin, 1.6 average, 1.2 median. You know, significant differences between those, right? So as our inventory gets picked off from the bottom, wow. Now let's see where we could live if we went to a place in the Jordanelle. And remember, we have to learn new districts. So this is all of Jordanelle. Does somebody want to speak to what South Jordanelle means? Not officially, no. Okay.
That'll be everything from the Riverview area, so on the south side of the reservoir there, all the way out and including Victory Ranch.
So that includes Victory. Okay, so you can see that South Jordanelle is significantly spendier than non-South Jordanelle, but that again is because the Victory Ranch numbers are thrown in there. And Victory Ranch is tough because a lot of their stuff doesn't show up pending. It's mostly sold in-house. So we're gonna hear from Chris Messick how we handle the in-house stuff. Because he represents a new thought going in up there. So Tuhey Hideout is kind of a new deal. And we'll get Matt McNaught in here probably next time to talk about what's happening with Tuhey. Look at the average price in Deer Mountain. When was that over $1 million, you guys? And you tell that to your sellers. Part of your competition will be near Deer Mountain. And what's the first thing they say? Well, who'd want to be out there? That's like telling your Deer Valley sellers that their biggest competition is Promontory. What? Who'd want to be out there? We gotta keep changing our mindset. The clients get ahead of us all the time. But look at this average sale price and median price for the total Jordanelle. $1.5 million bucks. Isn't it? Truly is. Now let's go to Heber and Midway for a minute. 95 sales in Midway, folks.
Wow.
Wow, right? Sally's been telling us it's gonna happen. And then we go to Heber North, and then we go to Red Ledges, then we go to Southfield, Heber East, Timberlegs, Daniel, Charleston, Wallsburg. Whoa! They're all selling. Everything is selling. Look at that Red Ledges here. Woo! Right? Talk about picked over inventory. So do we have some other observations or talking points?
A question.
Yes.
So Heber North and Jordanelle South, where's the intersection point there?
River Road?
Rich Fine, do you want to tell him where you can find those, that, or Todd?
Todd does.
If you pull up anything on your maps on Matrix and back out on a map, you'll see red lines start to pop up and we'll show you which areas you're in on those. But currently,
River Road.
Jordanelle South will get down into around the college area because a lot of that area, while there's not a lot in it at this point, will take into things as Sorensen properties start coming into play later on. So some things,
Can you
as you
still
look at the
thousands of
Heber
units?
stuff, will have placeholders where you'll look and say there's nothing there. They were put in mind with there's a lot to come.
So the rationale is that the MLS and the board met with a couple of people like Bill Coleman, all the futurists, and they started seeing, we're gonna have to be ready to take on hundreds and hundreds of units in areas that we don't have yet. So some of these areas look kind of silly right now, but that's why. Good question, thank you. More questions? Comments? Notices? So do we have a single statement about the market? The market, don't you love it when people do that?
Which one?
Yeah, which one? The market remains highly local here, highly local. I am seeing people being very willing not to be in the Park City School District that 5 years ago, they would insist on that. I think Wasatch County and South Summit have done such a good job of upping their school game. Hi, can we help you? Would you like to know where to sit? Yes. You can come right here. That's okay, don't worry about it.
So Carol,
Yeah.
when you're talking about the markets, at least, in the upper end, talking to various people, I sure find that the upper end, say maybe 3 million plus condos or single family homes has been like flat.
Mhm.
And then you have some isolated sales. I was talking, to Bob Marsh, because we're also up in Deer Valley, and that people that are looking, definitely seeing people still looking, but however, a resistance to making the actual purchase that you're going, are we at the end of this cycle? Do we think next year, the following year, prices will drop? Maybe we'll wait. So we're seeing a fair amount of that. Then I think the key is, what kind of talking points can we create to counteract that? I mean, valid, but we want to have valid ones as you go. Is it scarcity? Is it cost of construction? I think that we need to be prepared. I think, and then macroly, the state of Utah, very strong. The airport, the
Number one choice of millennials is Utah.
yeah, exactly. But so I think we're, at least the upper end, we're seeing it kind of flat, and then, the market, interest rates, there's just a lot going on to have good talking points, right or wrong. We need to be.
Okay, well, let's develop some right now then. So you may know that Steve has his finger in the pie for houses valued over 4 million, maybe more than any other single agent.
No.
It's okay. Your team.
Yeah.
So if somebody says that to you, this is not in the statistics report, but we can use stats to answer it. If somebody says, I'm really anxious about the world economy, and I don't want to have another 2008-9 in my life, what facts can you provide that might make them feel good?
Well, it seems very consistent that the quantity sold is down, the volume is down, the average sales and median sale numbers are up.
Can we all agree that that's a true statement for overallness with houses so far? Okay, great.
And it seems people I'm talking to are shying away from what they perceive to be a renovation project. And they're willing to spend the money on the renovated or the brand new. And to your point, they're willing to do it outside the Park City School District now. And hence, I think the best example of that is Chris Messick operation up there.
Yep, we'll have Chris talk to us about that in a minute. So great. I think Michael's point, Mountain Man's name is Michael. Michael's point is that we all have people who call us from Bald Eagle or whatever with an aged, dated house that they think is worth X, and we have to say, the market is saying, well, they can fix it after they buy it. And we can say the average person feels so busy that he's not willing to spend the time, money, and hassle in doing a major remodel unless it is a compelling value, right?
That's a great statement right there. The average person is too busy.
Feels too busy, right? They may not be too busy. Well, be easy, they'll just hire a contractor.
Sure.
If that's all there was to it, you should have done that, buddy, right? I like the word compelling value, don't you?
Yes.
I think it's a great script. That's a good start. What else do we say to people who say, you're gonna have a lot of inventory new coming out, I'm gonna wait till it's priced or something like that.
Wait till it's what?
I'm gonna wait till it's priced. Or whatever they're gonna say. Gotta have these scripts ready, everybody, right? I know you got them.
I would say for pricing for construction, you look at your costs, your hard costs are up on average 40%.
You got that?
Contractors are up, all of these costs, so the reality is you can probably buy something that's existing cheaper than you can new.
I think that's what we all say.
Probably 10 to 20%.
Yeah. I think if I call builders, which I do almost every year, and say, hey, if somebody were gonna have you build a new house versus buying an existing one, what are you seeing as the price difference? And most of them say 30% cheaper to buy an existing home than try to build one. And we all know, good luck in finding a lot you like. And if you're building a fine home, what's your average building time now? 2 years minimum, 3 years? And then we pull that ace in the hole out. I thought you wanted to spend time with your kids here. Right? Okay, so these are all some scripts that we use, right? Any other things that help you feel that they feel confident being here, right? What points do you usually make to somebody in their 50s about living here?
Quality time remaining.
Time, easy to get in and out, your kids will come see them. great medical, right? It's not too high in altitude, it's kind of a compromise. 6,800 feet's a lot lower than most mountain towns. What else?
I think it's a great legacy for the family.
Yeah, this is your legacy property. Great word to use, right? You're creating your legacy property. Okay, Steve, is there a couple of scripts? You probably knew all those cold.
No, I'm learning from you.
No,
You got it.
always.
But always the big one is the airport too. And that's always gonna get better.
It's great, good one. And their kids might find employment in the valley. My kids did. 2 of my 3 kids are employed in the valley. Okay, so are we ready to move on from single-family homes? All right, let's take a look, starting at page, can you believe that $680,000 average to be a number? Where's it from there? Okay, let's turn to condos, which in my packet starts at 11 of 44. So take a couple of minutes, circle things, think about it, see what these numbers mean. Okay, some things you're noticing, just random things, they don't mean anything.
Upper Deer Valley,
Okay, let's look at condos for Upper Deer Valley. What are you noticing there, Jeff?
average price is down 3%. Median price is up 41%.
Wow,
Wow.
33 sales in Upper Deer Valley.
I think that gets skewed by SCR, Stein Eriksen Residences.
Yep.
Wouldn't
Now
that
you're
have
closing them.
bolstered up the average further? That's what I was thinking too, but that would have.
No, if there was a few that were really top heavy, but the majority of them were the lower end, then it wouldn't,
Always,
then,
right?
right?
Lower Deer Valley continues super steady. We started seeing that about 4 years ago.
Empire Pass.
Empire Pass, let's look at Empire Pass. 52 sales last year, that's 1 week. I didn't get enough of those, how about you guys?
Chris got some.
26 of those were one Empire.
26 of the 52, that's exactly half, were 1 Empire. So those have showed up on our pending list, but they didn't close yet. So now they come across our board. And so that means really that we sold 26 other sales.
Resales, yeah.
Yeah, Sheila?
Resales.
Resales, yeah. Since that was the new product that was moving. That obviously pushed our numbers up high.
Which makes us more in line with the year before.
Right.
Yeah. Just up in price at 10%, right? 9%. We always want to remind people to say to us socially, I'm just priced out of Park City Market. I'm gonna go up to Boise or whatever. And what do you say about the in-town market? What do you say? That's a true statement that kind of contradicts that.
Boise's a great area.
Yeah, you can say that. And you can say that Zach grew up in Boise with our new board member, Damon. But look at the Prospector condos, you guys. The median sale of 54 sold condos last year in Prospector was $172,000. So shut up. There is affordable housing if you want that. And then let's look at Old Town condos. We've been following those a lot. We're down to 99 sales for the same reason that Michael said we're losing inventory. Again, average sale 834 with some nice new Old Town sales. But the median sales 540 for a good condo in Old Town. I mean, it
Still
doesn't
deals.
suck.
There are still deals in Old Town.
There are. But yeah, it's gonna be dated. Yeah, the ceilings might be low. Yeah, you might have to walk up some stairs from where you park. But that's your choice in money, right? Anything else in condos?
Just in town or the basin or specifically?
Say again, Sheila?
Are we just in the in-town area or the
Nope,
basin?
Go for it.
All of it?
I mean, you can't help but notice Canyons Village, right? And a lot of that product is just being finished, just starting to come on our books. And we'll be having more and more of like Apex type sales, pushing those numbers up. 126 sales of Canyons Village condos. Whoa!
And most of those were not new developer product. We didn't have anything new in the Canyons Village that actually developed and released this last year.
Yeah.
That closed. Did we?
Foxwood, or Frostwood.
Frostwood.
Oh,
Yeah.
they had a few.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see one of
10?
those. Come on.
And,
Some Blackstones. They were the year before. Blackstone.
yeah.
So
Well, you know,
what do you think
one
the
thing
number
you
is
could
on
say
that?
Forever,
Mhm.
gosh, I don't know, this has been going on for a long time. Old Town condos ruled the roost as the number of transactions.
That's true.
I
What was that again, what you said?
Maybe this is the first time, I have to go back and look. The Old Town condos
We're
Always-
number one.
were always number one in number of transactions.
Oh, so we're 99 to 126 Old Town to Canyons is what you're pointing out?
Yeah, I mean, maybe.
That's a pretty good.
I mean,
Because the year before that, we had more than 136 sales in Old Town. I don't remember how many, but
Yeah.
yeah. And again, that might be Michael's comment that, you're down in inventory. Now, let's look for a minute at the Deer Mountain condos. 103 condos sold in what we call Deer Mountain. A lot of those are sold before, they don't even put them on the MLS. They sell them in-house, but at least we got them to put them now in the solds. So we're really grateful for that. And then Hideout. Not too many condos in that inventory yet. It's interesting how few condo projects there are right now in the Heber area. Obviously, there've always been a lot in Midway, and they're very lovely. Well, not data's here for us to look at, but we don't have statistically enough numbers to really speak about that. And besides that, quite a lot of lots, if you try to price them, were actually $2 million teardowns, right? House next to me sold for 1.8, and they had the bulldozers there after they closed, right? That's amazing, right?
Yeah.
Amazing. I wish somebody would come in and just bulldoze me in, I can get built up nice and neat. Okay, do you want to write down a few talking points from that? And now we're gonna go to some wider view. Chris Messick, you're almost up. I hope you're so nervous about speaking. You can see how tough it is.
Gotten really,
Yeah, it's okay. So if everybody would take their little piece of paper that Meyer gave them and just wrote down something you heard. And then Kara and Todd and Sheila will go through those pieces of paper and try to get something out of it. Meyer, do you want to put up the charts for just a minute? We'll go through those quickly.
So Carol, I'm confused. So again,
Steve.
so what did you want to put on here
are the significant points in the market, things that you feel like.
You heard out of
would be
today.
Informational,
Uh-huh.
that we can all be on the same page when we're talking to
oh,
clients.
okay.
Just the facts, the things, changes, or, positive.
Pockets,
Positive news.
pockets, right?
Okay.
We all know that one. And then when you're done with that, I've asked Meyer to put up the trend statistics, which are these. And these make you look like an expert. The reason you're on this committee is you casually throw this on the back seat of your car, you know, and people look at it and they think, oh my God, this agent's hot shit, right? They know their stuff. And these are really overall bar years, but as you know, we've been trying to get back maybe to 2005 numbers for a lot of times. The first one is number of units sold. But you're not running out on us, Chris.
Diana.
I did. And then just look at the number of units. And then let's compare that with the next page. The total dollar volume units. Look at this. We have surpassed the low point in the total dollar volume our board is doing. $2.5 billion, right? Billion. $2.5 billion, okay?
Give us the evil eye.
And now let's look at median price. Median price isn't as up and down. Look at median price is a little smoother. And this is almost the first year that our average price is higher than our median.
Rick,
Right?
What did you say?
The average price in here is showing 900,000 plus of all units sold. And we'll talk about this because Rick Klein is very careful about his report where he draws his numbers from.
but the median's at 700, isn't it?
Say again.
Median's at 700.
Yeah, I'm looking at average here. Sorry. And the next page on here shows two colors. Ooh, we're reaching. Average is in blue, median is in red. Just shows we have lots of spending people here, which we already know and bless them so much.
Love average people.
And then all these squiggly lines that look like a really bad cardiograph. I'm glad that's not our heart rates, right? They're just complicated. So the trend charts are so broad, I'm not sure they're really, really useful, but if somebody wants to ask. And as our market starts wavering, most of us will start getting random calls from guys, statisticians in New York offices who've never been here, and they're gonna want you to do data work for them for nothing. There's nothing in it for you, and I want you to know that I say that I charge $400 an hour, and it's not worth it for me to do that. You know, if that's what they want. They do not have access to our data, and they can't believe it. So don't hand out your data. That is us, you can lose your license, or you can lose your board membership if you just let somebody go on and look at the data. That's what we have that's valuable. Okay, now I'm gonna give a little report to Sally Roberts. Sally, as you know, specializes in the Beaver Valley area. We usually have her report to us. She says, hi all, sorry my astral body won't be present. I'm comfortably holed up in my little house near the Beaver River in Hamilton, Montana. She's a fly fishing guide, among other things. I was truly astonished at the market activity in Victory Ranch and Red Ledges. When all pending transactions record, Wasatch County will realize a significant increase in property tax base. Interesting way of looking at it. And then she says the Heber Valley, I gotta get my steps up, sorry. I need to pass 3,000 at least. The Heber Valley is a tale of two cities that separated at birth siblings. Isn't that a great sentence? Let's say it again. The Heber Valley is a tale of two cities separated at birth siblings. Wasatch County still is perceived by many as a distant cousin to Park City. Park City is regarded as a world-class winter resort. Heber and outlying areas are gaining recognition in golf communities. Toohey and Glen Wild are sauntering into middle age as Red Ledges and Victory Ranch manifest major growth spurts. So she says Red Ledges sold a lot of lots. They sold 118.
Lots?
Yes.
From Center Street in Hebron, one can count over 50 homes under construction. Red Ledge's single family only show 4 active homes. They sold 11 homes, but 5 of those are under $1 million. Victory Ranch has 5 actives, median 3.6. 28 under contracts. This is something we have to watch out for more. 8 of those are 1/8 fractionals. We're gonna see more fractionals coming in. It's really fun statistically, isn't it, Sheila? Yeah.
And you count those as one transaction?
All 8.
8,
Oh, hey, okay.
because they all have separate ownership, separate listings.
Yeah, that's what I meant, yeah.
Yeah.
Each one's the
Amazing,
same, yeah.
right?
And that's a Victory Ranch?
Yeah.
That's Victory Ranch, and the median listed price, or under contracts, I'm sorry, is 2.3 million, including the fractionals.
So tell me, let me ask you this, because, it gets very fractured if we,
Fractionals get fractured, yeah.
exactly. I thought I planned the word. No, so it'd be just interesting, is it worth the effort? Because you go, if it's only an isolated case, but it does materially impact.
Yeah, if statistically we could put a sale and just a data field for us alone that took that 1/8 and multiplied it by 8 so that transaction became more relevant to our statistics.
We've pulled fractionals out in the past. You have
Right, that's what I
fractionals
thought.
at the Deer Valley Club,
Right.
you've got them at the Chateau. So we have fractionals as a
Grand
separate
Summit,
category. We
Grand
don't
Summit.
lump them in with everything
Right.
else in the past because they are a different animal.
Yeah, and they're significant as far as
Big grandson.
data.
And they had 21 sold, median 2.2. And Sally finishes that Victory Ranch and Red Ledge's listings and sales are dominated by in-house brokerages, as you know. And I personally go and charm all the in-house brokerages and get them to give me the tour. When I have a client, I just sit there with a grin on my face. Let them do all the work. So why would you go try to sell in a gated community if you're not a member there? With that lead in, Chris Messick, who is head of sales for Promontory. Promontory has dominated our market for the last years. It's been the #1 sale item, period. And you will see that they were down to 68 sales last year. 1.25 a week.
What are you doing?
That's okay. You're gonna
Hey,
do
it's
that.
been moving here.
Yeah, you are only 68 sales. Take it away, Chris.
Thank you. Hey, guys, and I will
Take your time.
echo what Carol just said. I've got 7 sales executives up there and myself, and let us do the hard work for you. I mean, I get at least 1 call a week from an agent, put me on speakerphone with their client, and I'll just answer questions for about 5 minutes, and that usually gets the trick done. And we're always there. We're there every day of the week. So as far as tours go and stuff, let us help with that.
And a caveat, we cannot show up in a gated community and tour our clients with a golf club at Glenwild on our own if we're not members. It's the same with Promontory. We can't saunter up and try to go into the pool and show them that without a member doing that.
And we are starting to crack down a little bit on that with technology and stuff. It's been tough, as many members as we have, but we are putting a point of sales at all the amenities and yeah, just let us help. We're there to help for sure. So in the stats, we kind of look at the stats a little bit differently. So some of these numbers may be off what you saw here, and I'll try to explain why. We pull these monthly, and I've got a handout here for you. So if anybody needs, we update this once a month. We're going to have it on the website. Sheila, if you need to get on the radio or something, just text me the night before, and I'll give you the latest stats on Promontory. But how we compare ourselves at Promontory to the Park City overall market, we pull Park City and Stoneyville Basin, and we pull lots and single-family homes. So we just extract condos, and we extract some other areas that we don't consider a direct competitive set. But the overall market for what we compare ourselves to was down about 9% in Park City, and I'm talking about units. Volume was slightly up, average sale was slightly up. We were down.
Are you comparing 17 to 18? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, comparing 2017 to 2018. The overall market for single-family homes and lots in Steinville Basin and Park City was down right at 7.4%. We were down 4%. So we outperformed the market. We picked up 1% market share. So when you hear, sometimes you'll hear us say that we have 1 out of every 4 sell in the Park City market. You got to extract condos from that. So we're at a 22.5% market share up there. So of Park City and of Steinerville Basin, of every lot and single-family home that's sold, we grabbed 22.4, which is up from 21.4 the year before. So we picked up a little bit of market share. Resales were down 12%. I'll talk about that in a minute. Our developer sales were slightly up. We were up about 20% in developer sales, and that's lots and the new cabins. We're trying to, in the developer side, we always have home sites and lots available for sale, but we're trying to market ourselves to that, what you were talking about earlier, Carol, of how long the time frame is to build something. You know, it could be 2, 3, 4, 5 years. With our proprietary home division, we're trying to streamline that to where that whole process, if your client jumps in pretty quick and makes decisions pretty quick, we can have them in a brand new home in a year. 14 months is fair. So, and that's given a little bit of a cushion to them making some decisions. So we're trying to capitalize on that side of it. You can get the best of both worlds and get a brand new home, which is obviously a higher price point. I would agree. Our older homes up there versus the new specs that we have going on and the new proprietary home product cabins we have going on is probably about a 30% delta. It's just the nature of the beast.
There it is, 30% again. By existing.
And it's tough when you get an appraiser up there. It's a lot easier now than it was last year because we have enough new sales. But I mean, you're talking from a $450 price per square foot on a 10-year home to $650, $675. Sometimes we're scared on the brand new home.
Say that again.
Just the delta between, and you're gonna
give me that.
I'm gonna email you everything. A lot of, I've got a one-pager now that I mentioned earlier that we're gonna have on the website once a month, but these are just questions that you guys ask routinely in these meetings, so we're just gonna put them on.
And I'm sure you guys who show promontory know this, but for new people, you want to start, I think, by looking at the amenities. That's what distinguishes promontory, that's what people are looking for. And that's really important to explain to our sellers that you're competing against a perfect amenity package in promontory, and you have a house sitting here with no amenities. And that's gonna be, so you got is $450 per square foot versus $650 per square foot for new. Okay, keep going, baby.
So Park City volume, and again, in our competitive set was slightly up. 2017 was 1.117 billion, and this year was 1.1128. Again, that's single family homes and lots in Park City and Steinerville. I mentioned our market share increased 1%.
And you're not counting the Nicholas townhomes in that?
We are.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah,
so
okay.
How we count the Nicholas townhomes in any of our cabins, they fall under single family.
Okay, great, that makes sense.
And I am trying to, and I think we're close, with reorganizing. When you go into PCBR, it's super confusing right now. When you go into the Nicholas side of it, it looks like Nicholas West, and it doesn't mean anything to you guys. It doesn't mean anything to me, and I live there. But we're gonna organize it where it's Nick Villas, which are the smaller cabins. And that's another example. Like the Nick Villas are the new answer to the trappers, right? So trappers, I don't write this down, but I'm rounding off for 1.3-ish. The Nick Villas are 1.6, 1.7-ish, and that's the new build versus old build, higher ceilings, more volume. That gives an example of just new versus older. And then we're gonna have what we call Nick Residences, which are like our homes. As a drop down, and then we have our private estates, which is our newer neighborhood where you can do custom homes or large cabins. In that.
I love those marketing terms, you guys.
Yeah, just anything on the Nicholas side, call me. I'll save you a lot of time for sure. Really, that's all I had. I mean, me and Jim Moran and Matt McNaughton, we meet a couple of times a year just to compare notes. I think we're all seeing the same thing, from a club
So for
perspective.
people who don't know, tell them
Oh,
what
so
you
Matt
have.
McNaughton, he's over he's my counterpart at Talisker, and 2A sales director. Jim Moran's director of sales out at Victory Ranch. But we just met a couple weeks ago out at Victory Ranch, and I mean, our notes are, we come in individually, but when we talk, we're pretty in line. The market, although it looks like it's going down, and it is, if you're looking at units sold, average per is up, volume is up. I personally think that it's more of an inventory issue, at least at Promontory, than it is just the market going down. I mean, we have 130 things for sale, and we're selling 160 things a year. So we have a healthy 10-month turnaround market. It's the issue with Promontory, like I talked about last time, is there's just so many neighborhoods up there that it's and every one of them is a lot different, and depending on lot size and home size and everything in there, you need to understand the totality of the market and individual lots.
So I think you told us something very interesting when you talked about 2 meetings ago about the size of your lots versus the selling price.
Yeah, so in Promontory has the demarcation line really is an acre. If you're on a lot that's under an acre, your home is there's a cutoff, basically close to 4,000 livable square feet, and that is different than actual livable square feet. And then when you're an acre and over, you can get up to 7,500, 8,000 square feet, and that matters. We are Francis and Jaffe, our developer, did tease it to members during his December talk to everybody that we are going to be doing a brand new release in Promontory that is going to test the high end of the Park City market. I mean, you're talking about, our home site, our average lot price increased quite a bit, up to about $500,000 last year. However, this new development we're going to release it just in small quantities. It's going to be a private gate within a private gate. It's going to be amenitized on its own, and you're talking about lots that are 2+ acres from 1.2 to 2.5 million.
When will that happen?
This summer.
This summer.
Yeah, where we did a super successful release on Elk Ridge last summer, we sold 15 of the 17 lots. This is a whole different animal, but we're gonna pretty much run the same formula as far as when we release it. So that July.
So when you say separate amenities, like not another golf course?
No.
Okay.
No, it is, for folks that know Promontory, most do, he's saved this parcel, the best parcel for years and years, and he's just waited to release it. It's it's known now as Wapiti Canyon. We'll rebrand it as the Pinnacle. We'll have a certain amount of large custom lots, and we'll have a certain amount of large cabin lots that we'll be selling in there. But we don't even have marketing on it yet. It's just more of a whisper campaign right now, and it's coming, and it will be released to owners and members first. So there are a couple of people that are interested in the project in Pinnacle that they're going to pick up a piece of property just to where they're kind of in front of the general public. But let me know if you have any clients or whoever you work with up
You
there.
say you're gonna put in like a clubhouse or a
Yeah, it'll be,
restaurant?
so the amenity, I don't want to oversell the amenity. I mean, the main thing is, it's going to be branded as a private gate within inside of Promontory, right? So they'll have super private gated access. The lots are larger, 2+ acres. You're going to have about a 2,500 square foot clubhouse, kind of an infinity edge pool there, small fitness area, a place where you can come in and do massages and stuff. We'll have a concierge. These are all ideas right now, but we'll have full-time concierge there that can drive folks around and
Super private room within that clubhouse.
Yep.
Can you imagine a gated community within a gated community?
Speaking of that, you were in the news this past weekend about Fort Lauderdale.
Yes.
On the other side of this coin, it was.
We'll get him on that. Let's get questions first on Promontory.
I had 2 questions.
Director Damon?
Thank you. Thank you. 2 questions. On the one-time conversion fee, how do you identify the lot? That question comes up a lot with my agents on how, and not maybe everyone doesn't understand what the conversion fee is as well, but if there's any insights or easily identifying that. And then the other question is, when does the land, the total acreage drop? Because originally it was marketed to me as 7,200 acres, I believe. And wouldn't that
That
drop to
fits
6?
in.
So yeah, that'd fit into Seaton's point. So are you talking about the HOA transfer fee that?
No, the tax conversion, to be able to use it as a primary residence.
Okay, so originally, when promontory was envisioned, and I'm gonna use dollars here, but when Francis Johnson, the developer, went to Summit County and said, here's my idea, this looks great, it's gonna be second, third home type community, okay, that's great. Then the issue of taxation came in, right? And so it was, you can have X amount of home sites, soon to be homes, that you can designate as primary residence, and you can have X amount that are secondary, and you either have to pay a one-time fee to trade them up, or you don't at all, and like in the case of our smaller cabins, our resort unit. So how it worked out, and there are exceptions to this, but basically if you're on a home that's under an acre, you are what we call incentive density, which is just an inside baseball terminology, but that means this is a second home, basically. You can go to Summit County on most of those homes and pay a one-time fee. I don't know what that is. I want to say it's around $14,000. And then it can be a primary designation for tax purposes. The good news is that travels with the home. So if that home sells 3, 4, 5, 6 times, it travels with it. So it becomes a kind of a competitive edge. And then the homes that are over an acre, most of them automatically have that designation to where they can be designated as a primary home and save taxes. There are exceptions.
Without an added fee?
Without an added fee. The exceptions are Northgate Canyon, Elk Ridge, the release we recently did. There are a few exceptions, but it worked out to where they're over an acre and under an acre.
And for new agents, that's about double the tax rate for primary and secondary,
Yep.
so backwards.
Is there a way to easily identify it on the MLS, on a plat map? What is the
Under an
easiest
acre.
way to?
Call these guys.
Yeah, I think the easiest way is for now to call me, because what's gonna happen if we can try to change it in totality, you're gonna have to go to all the resale agents, which we have a ton of up there, and you're gonna have to put that in confidential or public remarks, I don't know if there's I guess you could do a drop down inside of MLS on those to designate. No?
Whenever I sell something like a promontory, I always talk to their comptroller or something, because the memberships are very complicated. There's a bunch of stuff that you can just ask for help.
Yeah, call me, text me.
These guys know their shit and they want to help you. It's the same there are a whole bunch of the same tax issues in Canyons Village.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
don't tell
Canyons
your
is
client that if you live in here full time, your tax rates will be cut in half, because Summit County doesn't want to let go of that higher tax rate.
No, and that's, and to your question about acreage, that was, and I'm not as smart as this as you're going to want me to be, but that's where they moved the South Point development out of promontory.
So it's 4:00. We're kind of on this, but I think we'd really like Chris to answer the whole part of, they pulled hundreds of acres out of the original promontory, and they're putting it to the east. And they would like to do a high-density community project, and of course, Summit County's going, so take it.
Yeah, and again, I'm on the inside, right, and I don't go to the meetings. I don't have a meeting with the county, and they'll have more. The issue was, as I mentioned, when the original development agreement for promontory was founded, there was an expectation for employee housing, and there was not a time frame put on that expectation, or it was never. And in the prior regime of Summit County, it wasn't brought up, and actually at the beginning, I think they really didn't want employee housing. I'm talking back in 2005. They really didn't want us to build it. And now it's come to where there's a new regime in Summit County, and the politics change, and now they're looking back at the developer agreement and saying, okay, you did do this, you did do this. So they're trying to get definition therein, and decisions have to get made. That's how I
Reading the
understand
park
it.
record.
Yeah, keep reading the park record. It's on the radio every couple of weeks. I don't know really anything about when South Point, when Francis wants to do South Point, when he wants to start coming out of the ground, when he wants to start selling in any of that. So
Well, we appreciate Chris. We have dessert. So everybody take a breath if you need, but we get to have Rick Klein's report, some of the most fascinating data we have. And you will accept this as a PDF if you haven't already. Thank you so much, Chris. My Rick Klein report got picked up. Did you pick it up, Chris?
Oh, did I pick up yours? Does that have better notes on it? Inside of the
Hey, Rick Klein speaks faster than I do.
Oh, no.
So that's yours. So Rick gets his data, in a slightly different way from your board. So this is really interesting data, this right here, very valuable. Rick's gonna go over it at the speed of heat. So take a breath, look up here if you can see it, move up where you can see it. Take it away, Mr. Klein.
Let me bring that up. I start with the three issues here. We talked about very demand, supply, and value. On demand, I look at two things. The first one that's different than the board is pendant sales. This first graph, I can go very fast. I put it in just to show seasonality. So when we talk about a lot of numbers, it makes sense to go back a year. It makes sense to look at this on a year-over-year basis. You take a look at it, it just jumps out at you. Take an example, for example, look at this past December. You guys kind of went on vacation. And that last bar graph there. Let's go to the next page.
And this is a powerful graph to show sellers who are saying, what's the best time of year to sell? Right? Okay.
This next graph, this is an annual comparison. And you can see a couple of pretty interesting things here. We're down 8% from last year on pending. And we're going to see that same sort of thing on the sold. But the other thing I put down is if you go back 6 years, I mean, it's relatively stable. I mean, yes, it's down 8% this year. On the next slide. But right there. That's fairly stable. I mean, we're down a bunch, but last year's kind of a bit of an outlier when you look at that. So talk about a tale of two cities in a sense. We now could pick your own pocket. You can either say, look how stable the market is based on this, or you can say it's down 8%. Both of those would be accurate. Let's go to closed sales.
Isn't that fascinating? You can spin that either way, depending on what you say. I think a talking point for us is that our market has been remarkably stable since 2013.
On the next slide, we're doing closed sales. And if you take a peek at that, you can see closed sales are down 10.5%. Now, this is just Q4 over last year. And if we just quickly go to annual, this is very fast. A lot of information on this slide. Here's maybe the first really stake in the ground. By the way, for those of you who are in the greater park cities, areas 1 through 27, 28, anyway, to Jordan. And it's single family vacant lands and condos. So you can see here that we're down 7% over last year. Some of the amazing things, condos overall, down 12%, single families down 10%, vacant lots up 13%. That might be an interesting thing to discuss. We don't have time, sorry. But again, you kind of see demand is stable. Now, the other thing that I think is interesting, because it's never looked quite like this. On the far edge on your right-hand side, that's a percentage of units sold. So 45, 35, 20 are the percent of transactions sold. If you go to the next page, you can see volume, as we've already discussed, is up. But notice, what other things you see is it's kind of flattened out this year. It's only up 1.5%. But look at the difference in where your paychecks come from between the number of units sold and volume.
Less transactions.
Okay. So you're saying if we sold a house over a condo, we might make more money?
I think he's just saying less transactions at a higher price.
Now, the next slide is big. I do this presentation, then I do presentation for offices and others afterwards. And then I'll give you some of the.
So Meyer, I think he's got to do the supply inventory.
I'm going to use supply inventory. And the good news is it's up. So all of the comments you've been making today about, I think the reason sales are down is because inventory is inaccurate to a point. For example, I don't have time for example, but almost every point we made today, I've got a graph here, and I'll hand it out in your office presentation, that almost every area is up or the same. Inventory is up. And let me do it again. 1,143 listings opposed to 975. That's 17% increase. So let me take out the wind out of your sails. When I say the reason demand is lower was because of lack of inventory, that may be for a certain type of inventory, but not inventory overall. So you can see what that looks like. What else is interesting is January is always like our worst month for inventory, and then it builds up after this. This is the best January for listings we've had since January of 2013. That's not dealing with February and March, but just January to January. We've got more inventory this January than we have had for 6 years. So that's kind of interesting. The absorption rate. For absorption, I take the number of listings divided by the number of sales. I come up with the number. The absorption rate is 1218 and 7.9 months. Last year, it was 5.8 months. So our absorption is also going kind of north.
Takes longer to sell a property.
It's taking longer to sell property. On this next slide,
This is key. Everybody can understand this slide. It's an amazing thing.
yeah, this is so much information on this slide. So what I do is I take the median price of condos in areas 1 through 9, single family median price areas 1 through 9, same thing with the basin. And I say, okay, if you're above and below the median, how many months does it take to sell? And that's what all these are. So there's some pretty interesting numbers here. For example, look at your basin homes under under $1.2 million. That's done.
Not yet, mate. No.
Anyway, but I mean, I look at it and go, that's
Oh.
right. I mean, homes aren't there worth $1 million, and they're selling. If they're under that, it's 2.8 months.
To your recollection, Rick, I'm looking at in-town condos and single-family both under the median price. They're both at 6.7 months, which seems to me that's a pretty long time. So weren't those much more like 2 to 3 months in the past?
Yeah.
In other words, that even though you're under the median price, it's still not going to sell
As
that
fast.
Good point, Mark.
And that's absolutely true.
Put that
In
down
fact,
on your comment card.
Take
Put
it
that on
down.
your comment card.
Take this down to the next one, which is the conundrum. He's gone. I was talking to Rich Feinland about this late last night, and it was when I looked at Heber. This didn't make any sense to me, so
No.
I actually called this the price of hypothesis testing, and none of it turned out. But that doesn't. I mean, I'd love to have more time to say, what's that about?
Yeah.
I mean, it's crosswise to everything else we've seen, which is pricing and the upper price single family. We're actually selling a little faster.
I think I'm down in Heber personally, and I'm guessing here, but there's a lot of new construction down there. So the new construction is moving, that's coming in over 49, is moving at a faster clip than
Then the older
So
product.
this is new construction in Heber, or is this your?
Heber. What he- that's what he was
Yeah,
saying.
Heber, no,
Which would include Red Ledges in this overall.
correct, yeah.
Now, by the way, this group, part of the number of people in this group define Heber for me. It doesn't include area 30, which is Midland. So, anyway, for the moment, we define Heber as areas 31 to 38. So similar to what we've seen on the slides, Meyer, is home prices going to the next one. You can sort of piece of paper, I put average and median on the same slide together with number of sales. So there's lots and lots and lots of information here. As you can see, same sort of, we've already seen it once, but kind of a little more gradual increase on the median. You can see the differences there. Median price is up 9.3%, average price is up 8.8. So let's do it again. What was demand? Demand was down, inventory is considerably higher, and median prices continue to go up.
Contrary to most people's belief of economics.
Yeah, so by the way, my sense is that's probably not sustainable, but when you get back to your offices, NAR came out today with exactly the same comments with existing home sales. NAR had, sales were down 10%, values were up about 3%, and inventory was up 6% nationally.
Right.
So that came out just today, so we somewhat mirror.
Is that for homes or?
Well, that's, I think that's single family. I think it's single family. They don't include lots. They don't include lots. Just single family. And then, yeah, I do a rolling median average, which is kind of a curious statistic, but basically, that's what this looks like over time. As you can see, this is the first quarter for this index, we've been above the historical high. Which is the same thing as the chart that we handed out earlier on your chart, which is when you look at the median, it's the first time we hit a new high.
Wow.
So that's a nice talking point. The other piece of that talking point is when I take a look at it, when we go back all the way to 2001, this isn't explosive growth. I mean, we're going 5% a year. Is that sustainable?
Good, sustainable, we like that.
Now, it says the low point, we've been going up to 7.5%. This is a compound growth, 7.5%. But that, you know, that's kind of understandable when we're down so low. So on the sustainability factor, again, we can talk about it whichever way you apply. We've either got inventory up, demand down, prices rising, or you can say, you know, it's been rising at a fairly consistent pace over time. Chances are the prices probably aren't going to take a big hit. Just your concerns there. Any questions? Jeff?
For everybody that's been going around telling that the transactions are down as a result of a lack of inventory, which is not true, what do you say? Transactions are down because
lack of demand.
Well, but I think buyers are sitting on the fence a lot more than I've ever seen them. They just are waiting for the exact perfect house at the exact perfect price. They just don't seem to be as motivated to jump as they used to be, like willing to accept some compromises. And
well, one of my favorite comments comes from the gal in the back. What is the price? Prices went way up and the number of sales declined some. I mean, Carol set that up and I'm in this committee for years, right? But yeah, I mean, the real surprise I thought for me was inventory was up. I mean, here's just one quick example. If we take a look at condominiums in Alton, we went from 55 last year to 79 this year. So I mean, there's up quite a bit.
and wait, listings or sales? What are you quoting there?
I know those are actual, those are the listings. So what I'll do this for graphics later on each individual area, but yeah, in most areas, inventory is actually up. Thank you.
I want to say that Rick Klein makes no money off this. He spends hours doing these reports. Most of our reports, we can pull off the MLS. He has to hand pound a lot of this stuff, and he makes his living placing mortgages. So get his card at the end, and also Rick will come to your offices and do this presentation for you, no matter where you are, any size office he'll do it. So that is a great thing if you're a broker or owner or anything. You are adding incredible value by having this.
Oh, thank you.
And any of these charts are now yours to put on your website, but you need to, Rick, what do you have to do with them?
Well, I don't know yet, just make sure you say Rick Klein Moves Park. If that's a branding issue, you can certainly put my name on there.
Yeah, you can put mine in.
And we've got these reports already posted on the website.
So get them off there. And you guys are awesome to hang in here for all this time. This is so overwhelming, isn't it? And then we come out of here like,
Scrambled.
yeah. So anyway, thanks everybody for coming. And it's so fun to do this every quarter.
Talking points, you can leave just on the back table by the computer and I'll grab them. So thanks everybody.
Bye, everybody listening. Bye.
talking